about the big things, so say make we talk about the small things, so
yeah, good morning, my good people. This is the EnviroGyst on Quest 93.1 FM. My name still remains Richard. We don't come back here today to talk about the small things.
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Mr.
Good morning, listeners out there. My name is. I'm sorry I was taken away by something here. So, okay. Yeah, my name still remains Noko Fred, and I still work for African Center for Environmental. And with us in the studio is.
Our guy. Those of you now we miss him last week Thursday, when I don't hear him today. So we'll come back to talk about the small things.
Yeah.
Last week we talked about what we talked about it. I don't forget
traditions.
The deforestation.
No. See, I say you still sleep. Mr. Fred still sleep.
I look like I sleep.
Tradition, culture, and how it affects our
I know say
environment.
Okay.
So today we want to talk about moral erosion and societal decay. But before we delve into the topic of today, I want to thank those people who called in last week Thursday. We know if it's do that, to appreciate them. There is this guy who is very passionate about speaking on any of the topic that we are discussing every Thursday. So I really want to say thank you and appreciate people. And then also within a week, the Honorable Supervisory Councillor on Environment, he called me and he sent me some videos on the work where they carry out currently on desilting the drainage with the east-west road, starting from Adler and bringing it down. So I want to say thank you very much, because he came here the other day and we discussed and he told us, he gave us his word that he's going to do some of those things that were suggested and recommended by the public. So my name is Richard Benin and I work with Community Development Advocacy Foundation, CODAF. Our other partner, Madam Ayo Nefertiti, who is the Executive Director of Nefertiti Development Initiative, Seneca Hill, everybody. She's still on the road. So Mr. Fred, certain things we to see these days, they baffle. I can wonder whether that's the same environment, community, society now is still there, because some of the things where they witness and some of the things where they come, I don't want to say, this is the day before I they just start, So so a couple of days ago I got a video, a young male, a young female who ought to be good ambassadors. They won university and they had a very disturbing video about themselves doing something very wrong in the classroom. So that's what brought the idea for us to talk about this as moral erosion, societal decay. Does it start from the home? What is the environmental influence that is causing all these things? What exactly? So I'll pose the first question to Mr. Adherence. What does moral erosion mean in today's society? Are we truly declining or just evolving? So
that one a good question with that. First and foremost, the question say wetin moral erosion be, and then it come ask if we dey reduce morally or we dey change gradually. That's evolving. Now, for me, moral erosion, first and foremost, wetin be moral? Moral na what is considered to be right behaviors or principles around right behaviors. Those are morals. Now, when we talk about moral erosion, it means say when erosion pass, like go wash and topsoil. And so when you say moral erosion, it means those right behaviors are they being washed,
eroded.
Something they carry them comot. What that thing, we know wetin that thing be. When we say right behavior, it means say the erosion now means say that right behavior don't dey comot, and that thing don't dey show for that place. That's what moral erosion be. The right behavior in the society are moving It's like they are something they carry them come out. That's moral erosion. Now, a matter of if they are declining, that is where if they are reducing or we are changing gradually. I will say, in my opinion, we are doing both.
Declining and also evolving.
We are declining and we are also evolving. Now, it is, as a matter of fact, now the gradual change now they cause the decline to me.
Okay.
Yes, because when you talk about evolving, it means gradual changes. So before something change, it means say if I get as it did. So because say the thing don dey evolve, e don dey change, na im dey bring about the decline wey we dey see when we dey talk about moral erosion. The erosion sef na because say things dey change, na im make that erosion come.
Okay.
So to me, we are both declining and we are evolving.
Mr. Fred, do you buy that school of thought from Mr. Edera Zuriakogwa right now?
Well, you know, in things like this, we all have our different perspectives, you know, to things. I seem to agree with him, you know, to an extent, on the ground that yes, there's. What I don't know is whether we can use the word evolving. I would rather say, because I may be wrong. For me, the word evolving is something different from just, you know, changing from what you were probably to another. That's my understanding. Anyway. Now, we had a society which was mostly traditional. In 20th centuries, truly, Africa and Nigeria specifically were what you can call traditional societies. So the idea of family in the African perspective was not simply the idea of a husband, a wife, and children. Family
it was communal.
Yes, was made up of the enlarged family. You understand? So that is why a man marries a wife at that time. It is not just the man that marries the wife. It is the family, both the extended family, that marries the wife. Today it's not like, it's no longer that way. It has been redefined to mean that a man who marries is just a single man who paid the dowry.
You know, say that time, family they bring wife for mercy.
Yeah, so so that is the thing. So that is why, you know, oftentimes you will hear people say, parental, what is it called now? Say parents has failed in the upbringing of their children. It is really not that parents has failed. It is simply because we have a society that is transiting from the traditional society that we were to the, you know, a different kind of society that is inclined towards the West. So that is why you find that today we want to behave as if we are Americans, as if we are, you know, Europeans. So nothing Africa or Africa excites a lot of people. Now, the Gen Zs that we have today are simply the different people from what we were. Because that generation, the last generation, before this generation, were in between. So we'll find that the change that you spoke of, Endurance, started from the last generation, you know, where there's a redefinition of everything that we do. No longer in the traditional sense, but in the religious manner that is foreign to Africa. Now, as more and more people in our societies begin to go to school and acquire education and begin to understand how the Western societies behave, the more we begin to move from our traditional society to the European or Western society. Now, it doesn't help us where we begin to have, you know, the social media as an offshoot of telecommunication, the mobile telephone, because that helped to like increase this idea. Because now, if you look at 10 humans, 10 people, 10 Gen Zs that we have today, including those of us who were the generation before the Gen Zs, in our phone we all carry Android phones, and we have TikTok in our phones. We have what do you call it? Facebook. We have WhatsApp. All these things that are pushed around in these platforms are hardly African. They are mostly European identities. So this has also helped, to push our values away from what it was at the time, which was traditional, to a Western society. So that is why you find that, you see, when you begin to take education, for instance, and religion, for instance, if you brought education to Africa, it was a good thing. But the problem with it is that you cannot select what you must bring, because in that education is simply the idea of a child being unruly to his parents. You find a toddler in Europe, in America, telling the parents, "Are you stupid?" All right, he calls 911 for his parents.
Mm-hmm.
It is outside what our values are.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. Now, when people say things were better before, just like you said, that we were more of a communal society than we are today. What exactly?
They simply refer to the shift I just mentioned.
Good. All right, now, hold on. I know, I think I read it somewhere that the owner of Facebook does not allow his children to use Facebook. Okay. The guy, there's one other one. I think he does these smartphones. He does not allow his children to use the smartphone. That's parenting, because the parent knows better. All right. But we as Africans, because you made, why I'm saying this, you made mention it is not totally the failure of parents.
Yes.
Now we as Africans who want to buy a pad, that device, and give to the children, and sometimes we are too busy to monitor and regulate what
Let me meet you halfway.
So go ahead quickly.
Now, I've also read, just like you mentioned, I've also read in a place where Elon Musk, for example, was in a particular place with several dignitaries, and two of his kids were holding books,
instead of
devices. And then the person was like, this is parenting. And I said, well, depends on your perspective. Because go to Elon Musk, you are going to see different gadgets. All right? Forget the public whatever. Yes. Because you can't tell me that in Elon Musk home, the children does not have PS5. They don't have. You cannot tell me that you don't have games.
Yeah, well, having a game is actually not a bad thing.
They may not carry Android phone because that age, which I say is around 6, 7, 8. What would they be carrying in my house? You don't even own in my own house. In my idea of parenting, you don't. My first child got an Android phone after graduating from the secondary school. The second one did the same thing. The third one did the same. The other one is at the verge of writing. It wasn't my idea though, but the mother gave her a phone. So yes, in Africa we do this. Let me also tell you that even in Europe and other society, there are also parents. Because it's not a racial thing. It's about humans. There are also parents who give their children these gadgets at the very tender age. Yes. There are those who also will say that you are too young for this and you can't have this.
I quite agree with what Mr. Fred is saying. Now, the reason for me agreeing to it is because we cannot peg the failure of a child entirely on the family, even if the family has 30% of failure.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, because there's the environmental factor there. Some time ago we were discussing at the office, and I said that there are 3 people that fail a child in the society. There are 3 people. First, the family. Second, the society. And third, the child himself. So every person that fails, you can trace their failure to those 3 things: the family, the society, and they themselves. Yeah. Because every human being has a faculty to think what is right and wrong. Now, when they cannot think, they fail themselves. But sometimes the reason why they could not think was because they were influenced by the family failure, or the societal failure. This comes, that's also when we say societal failure, the environment
Yes,
where they
exactly.
find themselves.
Yes.
And you cannot expect a child who live in a place where they have gangsters not to want to associate with gangster. And sometimes it is not even out of his will. Sometimes it can be as a result of being bullied that he wants to join. So that becomes a societal failure. Governmental failure is inside the societal failure as well. Some persons going to prostitution because they do not have good economical. So
Okay.
that's
Let me, you see, Chinua Achebe wrote the book Things Fall Apart. Or was it in the 50s?
Yeah.
That was a time
Early
when
50s.
Yeah, in the early 50s. That was a time when you could actually count the number of libraries in Nigeria.
School, if I can school
You could
first.
count them. But he wrote that powerful book. Right? If you juxtapose the society of the 50s to the society of today, knowledge is everywhere, left, right, center. Today, you grab this and we don't need a library. But the library is actually with you every point of the way in your phone, in your Android. So ordinarily you will feel, if you think that the child of today has no reason to fail. Isn't it? But we will see that a lot of people failed. I'm just trying to embellish what you have said about the individual, which is the third aspect, that the failure can be traced to the person itself. It is what you stand for. At the point of birth, you have everything, your gene, everything that you need to survive are embedded in you. So, where a child can say, no, I don't want to join this cult. No, I don't want to smoke cigarette. And that's sure. So we have different characters. There are those who are at the extreme. Extreme, yes, mean, yeah, maybe on to the far left, there's that man, that human being, who can easily recognize a threat. The threat in smoking cigarette, the threat in joining a gangster, and say, no, I won't. To the extreme right, you find that individual who is easily absorbed into all these things. I want to smoke. I don't care what people think.
Yeah.
I want to join the gangster. You understand? You have the one in the middle who are easily manipulated, malleable. You understand? The extreme left can talk to the person and say, why you want to do this now? You want to say things now. He reasons, I want to fall here. But also, the far right will want to say, oh boy, forget this thing, all this way they tell, so not mind them, they will be like, easily. So you are in between these three, there are different personalities in all of them. But we have three from my own perspective. There are three different people. Those who can easily foresee where an action will take them to, and those who don't even care where the actions will take them to. And then the ones in between who can easily fall this way or fall that way. You understand? So a child of today who wants to survive, who wants to live. Now let me also, before I move on, the one to the extreme right, who can say damn it to anything. You must also find that child succeeding tomorrow, because there are people in the society who like that. When we say a child is stubborn in Africa, in Nigeria, for example, I've said that child is active. That's another word for the word stubborn. That child is active. You understand? So we find that a lot of, for example, Wike is an example of a very active child who could have been an active child when he was young. That's the stubbornness he's proving today. But that activeness has given him a kind of a role in Nigeria, which most of us would not want to identify with, actually. But it is true that we have a lot of people, such persons in our society, and they do well.
Talking about moral erosion.
Yes.
I know a man. He used to be my neighbor.
Okay.
Some people will just wake up in the morning, come to a nearby property, and drop their waste. The guy will say, all these people, they do these things, and they be very bad people, they be this. It causes from money to them. So I was okay, no problem. Let's try and find a way to remove them, which we always do. The thing was not working. because we don't see the people coming there
To dump the
to
waste.
dump the waste. So in contact one kind thing, pull broom, pull all that.
Red stuff.
The thing can stop for a while. Now, I can't find out say that same man that I can't come up from that place. Not back from there. I can't find out say that same man when me and they try to keep that place clean.
Clean.
Now I can be the person where they throw dirty for the place. You know. So one of my bros, we don't stay the place now. Oh, Shana, this is what you do. No good. He took offense. He started cursing, he started quarreling, you know. Now, is it that the man evolved? wait. Is it that he evolved to become that which he was preaching against earlier when I was staying there? Or that tendency, that character has always been in him all along?
It's been there.
It's been there. So now,
If you
is
look
it
at
possible?
the three characters I described,
Yes.
it falls in the middle. You understand? If you engage that man and talk to him, he might want to listen to you and say, okay, this is bad. You know, okay, but you know, he has conflict within himself. You understand?
Now, do you think that such conflict and such tendencies can be passed on to the child, his children that lives around him? Because they see him do that. They used to see him do this before. Now he stopped. Today he's not doing it. And he puts up defense.
Why he should
do it? Yeah. Don't you think that it will influence the children?
Yes, like I said. So except the child that you talk about is, you know, on the extreme to the left, where he permanently will see that this thing is wrong, and we never want to do it. You understand? So we hold on strongly to that philosophy, that policy of this is wrong. To the child who is in the middle, who can fall either this way or that way, there is a bad influence to that child. To the man on the right with extreme character, who does not care whether even if you tie that thing for this, it will go through the thing for this, it will tell you nothing there happen. You understand? That one will know that one. But you know, so to that individual that is not very strong willfully will always fall prey to the actions of this man. So when he sees the man doing it, he says, "I should be bros uncle the things for that."
Okay.
So it's like children can be molded into
Your society, the society where you grow up defines the kind of person you become. Except that, you know, you are that individual that is, you know, on the extremely to the left, that holds that policy strongly, that I have this policy that this thing is wrong and I will never do it.
So what you are saying now, it is when such moral character is embedded in the gene of the individual. That's what you are saying.
No, I'm saying that people are born with different characters, but as we grow, we learn to we learn to firm up our position.
Okay.
By taking position that certain things don't just come your way and you buy it and just buy into it. Others, they come your way and then they just let's try it. You know.
All right.
We have people who can hold on to a particular position for a lifetime. No matter how you talk to them, they will not change that position.
It's okay. Why we are saying this is that at the governance level in our country, we are failed. Right? At the religious level in our country, we also are failed. At the educational level in our country, we are failed.
In each of these that you have mentioned, they are all reduced to perspectives.
Depending on how I see it.
Exactly. Because now, if you say governance, go and call our president here today and tell him that governance has failed. They will tell you no, that it is you that have not listened, that have not read very well. Call the clergyman here, either in the Christian realm, in Christianity or Islam, and tell him that religion has failed Nigeria. He will tell you no. that it is you that have not paid attention to the good things that religion is doing.
That thing called perspective, I think it cannot outplay results.
No, because
Results
what you
should-
call results, what you call good or bad is actually your definition of what is good and what is bad. And who define it?
That's Shakespeare. You say nothing is good
Definition
or
of
bad.
good.
You see,
It just
When we
depends on how you see
say
it.
gay, when we say gay is wrong, it's very bad. It is because in your society, it is not what is appealing.
I believe that is one of man's downfall. I think
Yeah,
men
but
begin to fall.
see, that's why go to America.
The fact that it is there, we
The
should
government.
I'm now going to be forced to see it from his own perspective.
No, you are not forced.
No, do you know-
When I say
do you know-
perspective,
do you know-
when I say perspective, everyone have a way. You have a right to believe what you want to believe.
Oh,
That is the reason why. That is the reason why the man to the left will say, "I will not smoke," and the man to the far right will say, "Damn it, I will smoke."
If we are bringing that into
Perspective.
perspective, it means moral. When we talk about morality, which are good principles,
Yes.
it means we are not giving it two face.
But do you think morality rules the world? Every president in America that has ruled America has striven seriously to fight one war or another.
The fact that
Does morality rule it?
The fact that morality does
Is it
not
ruled
rule
by
the world,
uh,
it does not mean that the world is not falling.
Morality is defined based on what your culture wants, what you want. When it comes to governance, when it comes to states, when it comes to country and what they want, there's no morality. The fact that Israel is where it is today is because America wants to control the Middle East. Where's the morality there? Until 1947, 1948, there was no Israel in that place.
Okay. Before we call death go into international politics and all that, we are going to take a 1 minute break.
All right.
And come back, open the lines, let the public tell us their own perspective, because you are talking about perspective.
Yeah.
Make the public tell us, say, what thing is afraid to talk to? That's true. My pikin fit go out at age 14 and get a boyfriend or get a girlfriend, get pregnant and come back, and I'll see it as perspective.
No.
You said
Perspective is
we are talking about what is right, morally right.
Yes.
And you brought us to the definition of right and wrong according to Shakespeare. Shakespeare said nothing is good, nothing is wrong. It depends on how you view it. We agree.
Perspective is subsumed under your culture, the culture that rules you.
Good.
So if in Africa,
So if that man who wakes up in the morning and comes to drop his waist there, he sees it as this place is not being used.
Exactly. That's his own perspective.
That's his perspective.
So he can be right.
He can be right.
Yeah.
That is what you are saying.
no,
right now.
but yes.
No, that is what you are saying. Because the man, there's a reason why we choose this topic. Because a lot of things are happening in our society that is sometimes incomprehensible. I'm not going to comprehend them as what is normal. Before we started this discussion, I told you that I watched a video. That there's no way I can say it on air what I saw. 2 young people are supposed to be promising. Now you said the ones on the far right can say, damn it, right? They came to a class, set up a camera, and started doing something.
And they had fun.
Is that fun?
In their perspective.
In their perspective, it's fun.
In their perspective, it's fun.
It's
But
fun.
in their perspective, it is right, Abi.
But
But
if it wasn't right, why were they doing it? For them.
No, that is the value erosion that we are talking about.
Yes. The value
Just because your daughter or your son sees it as perspective
does not mean
does not make it right.
Right.
How will you
I
feel
have not said he made it right. In the Western culture, what they do today.
Let us not bring Western culture here.
Those guys are failing. Those guys, Westerners, to me.
That is where you are seeing it from.
No, from your own. No. Mr. Fred, I will disagree with you on this because in your introductory remark, you said before now, we as Africans were communal people.
Exactly.
Yes.
I take care of your child, you take care of my child.
Yeah.
Now there is a certain influence that has eroded that value that we held before. Does that make it the perspective and makes it right?
Now this perspective
I think you are getting me wrong.
Okay.
The fact that you sit here today and you are talking from the point you are talking from is because you have seen it as morally right. It's a perspective of it. Right? The child that wakes up, if my child wakes up in my house, we have rules in my house. Those rules does not bend to your perspective. But you do have your perspective. You do have your idea of life, how to live your life. But the rules in my house does not bend to that what you think is right.
Okay, I think.
Do you get my point now?
I think I get the point.
So, whereas you may want to behave any way you want to behave,
yes.
The rule in my house, will prevail over you. We'll tell you you cannot do this. But that doesn't mean that you don't have a perspective.
What we are here for today, Mr. Fred, is now, for example, in your house, there's a rule. And
take that house to meet the government.
Yes, sir. People that are within that house, they know the rule. And those people have different perspectives. Now, they now alter their perspective in that confined space.
Because you want to enforce it.
Yes. Will you see that as their perspective?
Let me answer it this way.
Bad moral?
Let me answer it this way. As individuals in a country, we all have a different perspective to things, different views to things. The government, knowing that, set up rules, which is called the Constitution, to govern the society. The Constitution tells you that you cannot beat your wife. It doesn't say you cannot have a perspective. So if your views about how you want to rule your family include beating your wife, you have fallen short of the rules of the society. But it doesn't mean that you don't have a perspective, you don't have a view. When you do that, the law takes care of you. I am not saying that because the child who at 14 decided to have a boyfriend and bring that person to the house. I'm not saying the person is right, but I'm also saying that the person has a perspective, has a view. But it is for the rule of the house to deal with that view, to correct the view.
But can we agree that it is morally wrong for a 9 years or a 12 years old child?
Morality. Your moral view is a perspective.
Mr. Fred.
Your moral view is a perspective.
You see that issue where you break on now, so my guy, you know water. What is wrong is wrong.
I'm telling you it is not wrong.
We are killing the society with this knowledge.
You say, bros,
this knowledge is killing the society.
Let us go back to that communal living.
Do you think that's communal living that we are talking about now? We don't know thieves.
Sometimes we need to be done.
Wasn't that a perspective?
For our safety.
That's a normal man.
Were there no prostitutes?
They were.
Is that not perspective?
All right, no problem. We don't mark 37 minutes this discussion. So we'll go take 1 minute break. We'll go refresh. Then you will call relax. Then you will call say, okay, that perspective issue wanna break also. He hold water for this discussion also. So then the public will call. May they still join math for this matter. Because small pikin go hold phone. You go walk out for street, you go dress skimpily. When you see that they go church now, the small pikin of 4 years old, he wear bomb shot.
It's not wrong now.
It's some perspective. Fashion perspective.
Is it wrong?
You just start over.
Why you dey vex like this now?
I don't vex, but I let you understand. So the child grows up and sees nothing
for the society to correct the child. The child has an idea.
I am telling you that the failure of an individual starts from the home.
I do not disagree with you.
No problem. Okay, thank you.
I do not disagree. It could be from the home. But the point I am making is that what perspective does the child have from the home? Do you know, you and I know that in 3 homes, 3 different homes, a child may wear a skimpy skirt in home A, and the parents say, what the hell is this? Get out of here, come and go and change. In home B, we say, well, it's not by this way, but I don't want to sit in this. In home C, they say it doesn't matter. No. Different views.
No problems.
These views are what I refer to as perspectives.
All right, thank you.
But if all of us in the 3 homes agree that this is not to be taken, like the government has said that you cannot steal, that stealing is a crime. No matter what view you hold, if you steal, the government, the rules deal with you.
No problem.
But the rule will not tell you not to have a view.
You know, say there are certain issues.
In the law, in the rule of broadcasting, there are certain words you must not use. Right? If you use them, the regulator of the system, deals with you. But the regulator will not tell you don't use them. They have set the rules there. They will not stop you from using them. It's just that they will deal with you when you use them.
Thank you for using this example. But say certain issues.
Yes.
I don't agree. There are a lot of issues that have been hanging. We say, okay, in 2027, we'll complete the discussion. Let me say what they do.
Yes.
Don't worry. We'll come back.
Well, is it that we cannot clearly say what is wrong and what is right?
Me, I
Because
not
we
say,
do wrong and
even
right.
for inside Bible, I don't say Colossians chapter 3 verse 5.
Which kind of thing is that?
Do anyhow.
You go see anyhow. There must be.
Yes.
We must.
Which you are coming to where I am.
No worry,
There's a rule of driving. There's a driving rule. If you decide to drive the way you want, you are going to be involved in an accident. Abi? Is it that you sustain injury or damage your vehicle?
For this first half.
It is your business.
For this first half.
You win.
No. Now you don't win. Moko leave out for draw. All right. This is the EnviroGyst of West Nigeria or whatever. We don't to create enough tension for this discussion. So we'll take 1 minute break. You go reach 1 minute. We'll take 30 seconds. About manager fire.